Welcome, dear friends, to our time of devotional reflection for Friday, August the 18th, 2023. I'm Brian J. Munro, pastor of Kitimat First Baptist Church in beautiful Kitimat, British Columbia, and it is truly a beautiful day today. This year, for devotionals, we are following John MacArthur's book, Drawing Near. Daily Readings for a Deeper Faith. Today's entry is entitled Treating Others with Consideration. 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 5 says, Love does not act unbecomingly. And our main thought is considerate behavior demonstrates godly love and adds credibility to your witness. When I was a young child, Pastor MacArthur writes this. I'm going to put this in front of it. Pastor MacArthur wrote this. When I was a young child, I loved to slurp my soup. I didn't see any harm in it. Even though my parents constantly objected, then one evening I ate with someone who slurped his soup. He was having a great time, but I didn't enjoy my meal very much. Then I realized that proper table manners are one way of showing consideration for others. It says, I care about you and don't want to do anything that might disrupt your enjoyment of this meal. Now, on a more serious note, I know a couple who got an annulment on the grounds that the husband was rude to his wife. She claimed that his incessant burping proved he didn't really love her. The judge ruled in her favor, stating that if the husband truly loved her, he would have been more considerate. And that's a strange story, but a true one, and it illustrates the point that love is not rude. Unbecomingly, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, includes any behavior that violates acceptable biblical or social standards. We could paraphrase it, love is considerate of others. That would have been a stark contrast to the inconsiderate behavior of the Corinthians, many of whom were overindulging at their love feasts and getting drunk on the communion wine. That's documented in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 20 and 22. Some women were overstepping bounds by removing their veils and usurping the role of men in the church. Again, that's all documented in 1 Corinthians 11, chapter 11, verses 3 to 16, and chapter 14, verses 34 to 35. Both men and women were corrupting the worship services by trying to outdo one another's spiritual gifts. Again, take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 26. Undoubtedly, the Corinthians justified their rude behavior, just as we often justify ours. But rudeness betrays a lack of love and is always detrimental to effective ministry. For example, I've seen Christians behave so rudely toward non-Christians who smoke that they destroyed any opportunity to tell them about Christ. Be aware of how you treat others, whether believers or unbelievers. Even the smallest of courtesies can make a profound impression. Dear friends, I thank you. I commend you, encourage you for having taken just a few moments today to hear me read this devotional reflection written by John MacArthur. I've taken his suggestions for prayer and for further study that are attached to this devotional, and I've recorded them in the description portion of this video so that you can see them and interact with the ideas he has in there. And I strongly urge that you do. Until we can be together tomorrow and hear Pastor MacArthur's devotional reflection for that day, I pray that you will go in the grace and the peace of the Lord Jesus Christ.